Hey guys, it's Adam Turner again, and in this video we're going to be looking at a new plugin that was released by Izotope this month called Neutron. And there's already a lot of demo videos out there on the web, but none of them really cover a full dry mix from scratch. So that's what we're going to look at today. It's not going to be a deep dive video, plenty of those out there already. I'm basically just going to give Neutron an ear test. A surface test. And what I mean by that is I'm going to go through each track individually, and I'm just going to throw on Neutron, and after about 10 or 15 minutes we're going to listen back and see what it can do. And we're going to look at some of the key features. We're going to look at the presets, the track assistant, the frequency masking, and the side chaining. So I've downloaded this mix here from an online forum of audio engineers who practice mixing. And all of the tracks are dry, and there's no plugins on them, so it's going to be perfect for this demo. Now I've done a little bit of prep work to save us a little bit of time. I've got a drum bus over here that I'm sending the individual drums to, that we're going to throw Neutron on in a little bit to help glue them all together. I've done a little bit of panning, as you can see here, and a little bit of leveling. And again, we're not going to do any surgery here. We're just going to do broad strokes and see what this plugin can do. Now, with the individual drums, let me talk about that a little bit. We're going to use the presets. Later on, we're going to talk about the track assistant, but to get the best results from the track assistant, you really want an isolated instrument. And with the drums, just the nature of miking drums, you're going to get bleed. And the track assistant, it really isn't going to make a great decision on how to handle that. So for now, we're just going to use the presets, and I'm going to shut up and I'm going to blast through these drums until we get to the overhead. And again, I'm just going to pick a preset that sounds okay, and I'm just going to move forward. So. A couple more things to note as we go. We want to give the plugin a meaningful name because Neutron can talk to itself across the tracks, and that's going to be important when we start looking at the masking and looking at the side chaining. So we want to kind of give it a meaningful name, kick. If we leave it as default or we forget, it's going to be hard to identify that track later on. One more thing, I'm sorry. It's also important to note that I'm using the VST3 version of the plugin. Side chaining only works with the VST3, so if you're using the VST2 and you're trying to get the side chaining to work, it will not work and you'll sit there and scratch your head. So keep that in mind when you're working with the plugin also. Need to find a spot where the toms are actually. And I copied and pasted it over, so it should still have the same preset. Now, with the overheads, we're going to introduce the track assistant, because we're not trying to really isolate any single drum. The overheads are exactly what they sound like. They're just microphones overhead. So we want to see what the track assistant thinks is going to make all these sound great. So
at the crack of noon, I'll rise once more. Get after it again. Get after it again. Anything that I got left.
all right, now I'm going to shut up again, and I'm going to blast through from the bass to the piano, and just use the track assistant on all of them.
At the crack of noon, I'll rise once more. Get after it again.
And I'm going to A-B those just so you can hear the difference, kind of the before and after and in the mix. So
Anything that I got left. At the crack of noon, I'll rise once more. Get after it again. Anything. At the crack of noon, I'll rise once more.
my control key is being stubborn, I guess.
At the crack of noon, I'll rise once more. Get after it again. Anything that I got left. Bugs away and a freeze. Crack of noon, I'll rise once more. Get after it again.
Now on the piano isn't consistent throughout, so the track assistant needs to listen to at least 4 to 10 seconds before it can make an intelligent decision. So we want to make sure that, we're not just reading this space and it's just getting 1 or 2 seconds of the piano. We want it to listen to 4 to 10 seconds. So
Bugs away and a freeze. Go back to again. Let me breathe in. Thinking about you. Let me breathe in. Come home. Bugs.
Now I lied a little bit earlier on in the video and I said I was only going to use Neutron, but with the vocals I'm going to do something a little bit different, because the vocals are the most important part of the song, and if you don't believe that, just ask any singer. They'll be glad to tell you that. And as much as I love Neutron, I am going to use it, so I'm going to run this through and I'll be right back with you.
Bugs spray and a freeze on that cup of gin. Rather be drinking, thinking about you. Rather be drinking, come home stinking.
Okay, and what I love about Neutron is you can see here on these 3 and 5 bands, it found some harshness in the vocals, which is awesome. I mean, these are pretty standard. I mean, you'd have to come back and kind of fine tune it a little bit, but I love the fact that it did that. But what I'm going to do different with the vocal is I'm going to use another Izotope plugin that is the best vocal processing plugin out there, and it is Nectar 2. And I would not be doing the song justice or the video justice without giving a cheap plug for it. But again, I'm not going to do anything surgical. I'm just going to select the classic rock preset, and it already has a compressor, a gate, a de-esser, saturation, reverb, effects, all the amazing things you need for a vocal. But what I don't want to do is overprocess the vocal. So because I love what the Neutron is doing with the EQ curve here and removing the harshness before it gets to the Nectar 2, I'm going to turn off the compressors and the exciter. And I don't want that high end in there. It sounds a little too hissy. So let's hear what we've got.
Bug spray and a freeze or bathtub gin. I'd rather be drinking, not thinking about you. Rather be drinking, come home stinking.
Love it.
Bug spray and a freeze or bathtub gin. I'd rather be drinking, not thinking about you. Rather be drinking, come home stinking.
Okay, now we're going to throw Neutron on the drum bus, and again we're going to use the track assistant.
Bug spray and a freeze or bathtub gin. I'd rather be drinking, not thinking about you. Rather be drinking, come home stinking.
And you can almost immediately hear how that tightened up the drums. Let's A-B that.
Bug spray and a freeze or bathtub gin. I'd rather be drinking, not thinking about you. Rather be drinking, come home stinking.
Okay, so now on to the next feature. We've got Neutron everywhere on the every track, and we want to look at the side chaining. This has been demoed also, but I still want to touch on it since we're here. A common mixing problem is the bass guitar steps on the kick. But Neutron makes it very, very easy to fix that problem. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Neutron plugin on the bass track. The first thing we need to do is actually send it to, you need to send the kick to the bass. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to turn on the masking module, and we're going to select the kick drum. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring our kick drum EQ down here and our bass EQ here, and we're going to turn the sensitivity up a little bit, and probably right around 100 hertz. We're going to see some masking happening here. So let's just we'll solo the kick and the bass. And you kind of have to toy a little bit with the sensitivity, but you can see that you want to kind of measure the red with the white So it is kind of right around this area here. We can see that the bass is masking or covering up that kick drum. So what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of pick a band that's not available, and right around 100. Is it 100? 84. And the histogram that it has here, and again, you could go over the detailed videos on the Izotope site, but over time it's going to show you where the masking is happening. But you kind of want to compare it to, you know, the brightness of the white here and the histogram up here. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to remove those frequencies to let the kick drum come through. So we want to turn on the dynamic mode, and you can see here that it's actually ducking the bass, but it's ducking the bass every time the bass hits that frequency. It's ducking it, which is fine, I guess, but what we want is we want the kick drum to actually trigger that ducking. So the bass is just going to keep thumping when the kick drum isn't there. So we're going to turn on the side chaining, and we're going to select the external full, and now you can see it's only ducking when the kick drum comes in. Okay, and again, VST3, this won't work with the VST2, so you want to make sure you're using the VST3. And we're done. I mean, for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, this is what we have. So let's A/B the before and after. We'll start with the before. I'll run it for about 5 seconds, and then I'll turn on the Neutron.
At the crack of noon, I'll rise once more. Get after it again. With anything that I got left, bug spray and a freeze or bathtub gin.
And that is a night and day difference. And to just kick it up a notch and polish the video off, let's add another Izotope product in here. Ozone 7. And this is all presets, so we're just going to select the Vintage Rock.
At the crack of noon, I'll rise once more. Get after it again. With anything that I got left, bug spray and a freeze or bathtub gin. Rather be drinking, I'm thinking about you.
Before.
Be drinking, come home stinking. At the crack of noon, I'll rise once more. Get after it again. With anything that I got left, bug spray and a freeze or bathtub gin. I'd rather be drinking.
Okay, and that's it. So, you know, I hope this helps you make a decision on whether or not to go out and get the Neutron plug-in. I love it. It's amazing. Nectar, another amazing product. Ozone. Just go out and get the music production bundle 2 or whatever it is. And this is what we did in 10 and 15 minutes. So thanks again for watching, and take care.